What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and this is the B1KER Bar Podcast live stream. Here we are, episode 73. If you guys haven't been listening to the podcast for a long time, you might not know who Toogy Howser is. But if you watched like TV in the 90s, you still don't know who Toogy Howser is, because this guy runs an MTV channel, and I believe he's Canadian. I'm almost like 99.999% Canadian, sure that he's Canadian. That's what I'm trying to say. So anyways, before we get started, let's go ahead and go through this list of things that I need to talk to you about. Those of you guys that are listening right now, I have this whiteboard. It's the only thing that I write down, like what we're going to do on this. Like, I actually don't write down any questions. I just write down the intro and the outro, because I always forget to say stuff that I was supposed to say, or I thought I was supposed to say, or I wanted to say. And those of you guys that are listening, I was just holding it up. It's blank right now, because the other night we were out here in the garage drinking beers, and we wanted to play darts. And I was like, oh, we'll just use this to write the score on. And now I don't know what I'm supposed to say on the intro or the outro anymore. I bet you guys are all like, okay, this is the part where he tells us to join Patreon. Well, you're right. That's what I'm going to say. If you guys want to support the channel, dude, seriously, swing by Patreon and support the channel. You can get there by patreon.biker.com or patreon.com/biker, or go to YouTube, click one of the links and show more, something like that. But it really helps. It seriously does. It's like, it only costs $1. I mean, there's lots of things that I've given $1 for. Like tell my kids, like, hey, go do this. And they're like, no. And I'll be like, I give you $1. And then I'm happy after of like 10 seconds of gratification. But here you are listening to a 2-hour podcast weekly, most of the time. And throw me $1. That'd be great. It really helps. It truly, truly does. And if you really want to support the channel more than that, you can pick up a sticker pack by doing a $5 pledge. And if you don't want to do anything like that, just swing by shop.biker.com. You can get one of these cool koozies. It's a slap koozie. If you didn't have enough of your childhood in the 90s, or you're not even that old to have a childhood in the 90s or the 80s, you don't know what the slap bracelets are, you can get one of these and slap it on your down tube whenever you're shuttling, and it'll keep your paint from getting messed up. Or you could keep your beer cold. Here, I'll throw this on this little IPA I'm drinking right now. Just like that. Boom. Got yourself a little koozie. You can get those at shop.biker.com. And here's something I haven't showed anybody yet, but I made these. I actually developed this credit card bottle opener. It's stainless steel, or allegedly, but it's got this biker emblem on both sides. It looks like a beer can with a bottle opener in the middle of it. Super thin. And you can put it in your wallet. It doesn't weigh it down. And now you always have a bottle opener. So instead of using your teeth, because we're getting old, man, some of us at least, can't be using your teeth anymore. Costs money to go to the dentist. Anyways, does the slap koozie fit a 16-ounce can? It fits any can. It doesn't matter. It'll fit a growler if you want to. So swing by and pick one of those up. Otherwise, the last thing I want to say, dude, is seriously go by my Instagram or my Facebook. I really need my Instagram to get bigger, and you guys are the only ones that can help me do that. So if you don't like Instagram and you do want to see some cool pictures and know what's going on with the biker and the channel a little bit extra, swing by either there or Facebook. If you're one of the few people that follow me on Twitter, right on. I think I have like 20 Twitter followers out of like thousands on the other ones. So if you want to do the Twitter, go for it. I don't know how to do the Twitter. It just auto posts there. So let's go ahead and get Jeff from Toogy back on here. Let me unmute this dude and then do this. What's up, Jeff? How's it going?
Not too much. I am Canadian, by the way. You're 99 point, or you're 100% right. I'm from Canada.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to say 100%, and then I was like, you know what? I actually never asked him like if he was born in Canada, so like maybe we'll find that out. So where are you from?
I'm from St. Thomas, Ontario, which is kind of 2 hours west of Toronto. So sort of right in between Toronto and Windsor, if you know Ontario at all.
And Ontario, like for us Americans that don't know anything about Canada, isn't that like a little bit more eastern Canada?
Yeah, like it's like right above, it's right near the Great Lakes. It'd be like right across Lake Erie from from Ohio.
Yeah. Lake Erie. I'm from Pennsylvania, actually. Lake Erie touches the Pennsylvania border as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So right on, dude. So you guys are like midst of winter right now, all the snow.
Yeah, but actually we don't have any snow yet where I'm at. It's just kind of wet and cold and gross out. Yeah, but no snow, so I'm taking that.
Well, there you go. I mean, you can still ride then. And
yeah,
I know growing up back in Pennsylvania, it was like I actually started riding in like the 90s, and we would go out in the snow, and it was just miserable.
Yeah,
and at least now, like there's gear that's like prepared for that. Like back then, or like developed for that. Like back then, we were wearing like, like 3 pairs of athletic socks and sneakers, and toe clips that weren't clipless. They were actually clips with straps on them, and
yeah,
it was just, there was nothing like the gear now is like so good.
It is. But I mean, even today it was like 0 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit.
32.
Yeah. So pretty cold, but you never know what to wear. You wear 3 or 4 layers and then you're sweating to death, and then you take it off and then you're cold. And then it's just, that's what it's like all day.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you there.
Yeah.
I have like California weather down like pretty well. Like I know like less than 50, wear this shirt, less than 40, wear this shirt, less than that, don't go outside. Like,
right.
But like the problem is like sometimes I'll drive places that are, quite a bit away. So like, for instance, it'll be like, I used to have this job where I'd travel to Oregon a lot. And I'd be riding down here in like summer gloves and t-shirts. And then I'd go to Oregon and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to ride while I'm there. Grab my bike, throw it in, drive up there. And then I'm like, dude, it's snow everywhere. I'm like, dude, like I brought a t-shirt, dude. What am I doing? So
severely underdressed.
Yeah. Apparently I just haven't gotten any better at getting intelligent either. So So, dude, last time we talked, man, you were at like, I think you just crossed 1,000.
Yeah, I think that was like 2 years ago, roughly. I was on your podcast and with Cobra Kyle and the other Robert from Fat Guy Biking. We were all around 1,000 subs.
Yeah. What happened, dude? You freaking blew up since then, man. You're like 8,000?
Yeah. I don't know. Just I think people kind of relate. Like my audience relates with some guy in their 40s just getting into mountain biking and learning along the way. I think there's a lot of people my age or similar just getting into it, and I think they can kind of relate to me a little bit better.
Yeah,
that's the angle I go for anyways.
I mean, and that's all it has to be, is like at least what you think you're doing, then keep doing that, right? Yeah, I go with the angle of 40-year-old guys that have been doing it for 20 years and are still no good. So one of these days, man, I'll pin that market. But until then, I guess I'll just be a little YouTuber.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to push yourself to get better and not get hurt, or to rationally think, should I do that or should I do that when I have to go to work tomorrow? And it's I've kind of got lucky, and I've crashed a bunch of people follow my channel. I've just luckily not gotten hurt. Knock on wood. But yeah, I sometimes forget that sometimes and end up doing stuff than just getting lucky, which is maybe not the best bet.
Do you think that is that like a personal attribute that you have, or do you feel like the camera like made you do that more?
I think it's a bit of both, but there's definitely been some times where I'll think, oh man, YouTube, I better do something for the video. If I don't do something in the videos, there's no point of it, or there's no reason to watch it. So I got to do something.
Right.
Yeah. So definitely.
Yeah. It's tough, because you're like, this is the thing, dude. Like you go out there and you ride that trail. I don't care if it's like your first week riding a mountain bike, or you're like, somebody like Jeff Lanowski that's just like way, way good, right? Like you go down that trail and you feel like you look like the like GoPro fucking videos, right? And then you get home and you look at the footage and it looks like you're walking, and what you went down that was like Mount Everest looks like, like a piece of paper flat.
Yeah.
You're like, so I can understand that once you're out there and you're trying to make content that's interesting, that you can find yourself in a position where you start like pushing it too much,
Yeah. Yeah, but that's definitely true with the footage. I don't know how many times I watch back a video of something I didn't do, and I watch the video and go, man, that looks easy. Why didn't I just do that? But I know the GoPro makes it look so much easier.
It's ridiculous. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I bet you if I asked like trail features, he would like give me an explanation of why it is, but I don't understand why the camera doesn't catch depth the way that our eyes do. I don't know what that, I know that part of it is the wide angle lens.
Yeah, it's like definitely that. Yeah.
Yeah. That like distorts it so that you don't see it as much. But even like pictures that I take with my regular camera, like, until you like crank up the contrast and stuff like that and like really kind of like put shadows in places, then it doesn't look steep, you know?
Yeah. I've tried in some of my videos, especially if I do a really steep section, even if you just turn around and look at the feature you just came down, that seems to give a better perspective. You can kind of say, wow, that really was steep and crazy.
Yeah, if you can stand at the bottom too and like film your buddy coming down, that usually helps, because then they can see like, oh, he's all the way up there and now he's not, you know, so it does. Yeah, it's tough, man. It really is. And like, I think the goal, or like the at the end of the day, there's channels that make good content because they ride sick stuff or they're really sick riders.
Yeah.
And then there's other channels that you watch just because you want to like be entertained. Whether that entertainment is like just what they're talking about, or with their personality, or entertained by a product review, you know what I mean? Like that, when I'm, the only reason I'm going into more depth there is just because like entertainment is not just like some guy with like a great personality that's funny. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like entertainment could very well be them like, you know, telling you how to install something because you're too lazy to figure it out yourself, or whatever you want to say. You know?
Right.
Like me, I'm like, here is the instructions in my hand. I'm gonna watch YouTube instead, because I don't know, that's just me. I'm like, and then I'm gonna bitch about like, why is there 3 minutes of video before he actually shows me what the hell he's gonna do?
Yep.
So over the last couple of years, you've grown quite a bit. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. Like, I think initially my channel was boosted by the bike I was riding. I was riding the Trek Roscoe, which I think is fairly popular for people just getting into mountain biking. So a lot of people would search for that bike. Mm-hmm. My videos would come up, and then they kind of subscribe because of that. But then I've kind of moved away from that bike until just recently. And I don't know if that's something to do with the channel not being as successful lately. I'm not sure, but I think the popularity was just because people could relate to me better than maybe some guy that's like super awesome flying down the trail 100 miles an hour, doing big drops and jumps. So they can like say, okay, well, if I can do it, I can do it. Like they can do it as well. I think is kind of what I'm trying to go towards.
I think there's another thing too that a lot of guys maybe don't want to like go out and set their sights on, but it's actually kind of lucrative in its own, is that you don't have to be like BKXE, Alex, Seth, whomever that has like this worldwide following. Mm-hmm. You can actually be this guy that has a really strong local following.
Right.
And that could be good enough of a YouTube channel for you to probably get most of the stuff that you want to get, aside from like maybe quitting your job. You know what I mean? But like you could have like just be the guy that's in Ontario. Yeah, thank you. Fuck, dude. I need to drink more beer. So like, I mean, and honestly, there's thousands of mountain bikers in that area. Yeah. Like you if you can get most of those people, you will be a pretty successful channel.
Right.
And then from that, there will be plenty of people that want to listen to you or watch you that are from other places. But I know like the majority of my subscribers are here in Northern California. They are here in Northern California because that's the trails that I ride.
Right.
And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like for a long time, I wanted to be Seth, right? You know, or thereof, like a channel like that, and then I got to a certain point where I was like, look, what do I really want? I really want to get like some free product, make a little change on the side, like have fun, make some cool content, you know, and that's really it. Like, realistically speaking, I do IT. I have a good job. I have a great salary. It would take a lot for me to get to a point where I'm going to quit my job.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, if you guys really want that to happen, please go to Patreon, sign up. I mean, it'll happen if you guys can get me there, but I'm not seeing that trajectory in my like short span at like the last 4 years or 5 years I've been doing YouTube. I'm not there, you know, but I'm pretty damn locally successful. Like, I can't ride any trail around here without people knowing, like, oh, dude, like 2 or 3 people at least, you know?
I get that too. And it's kind of cool. A funny, well, not a funny story, but a cool story. I was at a place kind of local in Ontario. It was like a downhill park, and I was on the lift with some older guy. And he's like, yo, you're that YouTube guy. I just want you to know I watched your video of this place, and I was scared of ever doing downhill biking, but your video made it look like it was doable. And I just want to thank you because you convinced me I could come out here and do that. And that, you know, was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy whenever you're not like, you definitely don't start your channel like, man, I want to go out and inspire people. Maybe BKXE did actually, but like I didn't. I wasn't like, you know, I'm going to be an inspiration to people. I was like, dude, if I can get some free bike parts, this would be sick. You know, like that's kind of what started me, you know, and to get an email or have somebody stop you, like it's way more powerful in person. But even when you get the emails like that, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like I'm an idiot. Why are they like, how did I inspire somebody? You know? I don't know. Yeah. That's the way I feel, at least, right?
Yeah. Like it made me do videos slightly differently. Like I tone back swearing and stuff like that. Just because I know there's kids watching my videos. Like I'll just beep it out. I don't like, I'm sure they know what I'm saying, but I don't say it.
Yeah, I'm so bad at that. Yeah. But I will tell you that I did have a reality check one day. I was at this kind of local event, and this guy came up with his kids, and this kid asked me to sign his helmet. And I was like, first of all, like I never really thought about what my helmet signing autograph looks like. And second, it's not easy to sign a helmet. It's not like a piece of paper. So it's not like you can be like, ooh, quick little like bottom of the painting freaking cool signature, and that doesn't work either.
Yeah. And
then it was like, holy shit, dude, this kid is like young. Like he was probably like 11 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like I will always like kind of like make jokes with the parents, like, do you watch him watch my videos? Because like I don't know if I would do that. You know, but like if you do, that's cool, you know. Like honestly, like my kids grew up around me, and I cussed in front of them because I am who I am, and I didn't want them to like go out in the world and be like, oh, I never heard that before, you know. And I just kind of like taught them that like, hey, this is something that's not appropriate for kids, and when you're an adult, you can make that decision, you know. And that's that. But that's me raising my kids. That I don't like feel like it's my place to have like push my opinions on everybody else's,
right?
You know. So it's like when they're standing there asking you to sign their helmet, you're like, oh shit. So I definitely have tried to like dial it back over the last year a lot.
Right. Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. Like I tend to, if you crash or something, you're going to swear.
Yeah.
or even just in general, if you're having a good time with your buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one that's tough for me, is like the way that me and my buddies talk to each other is like, you know, it makes like, you know, like sailors and convicts blush, you know. It's like we say some pretty nasty things to each other. So it's like I already was like editing most of that out, you know, like, so the stuff that I left in that people were like complaining about me cussing too much, I was like, dude, you should have heard the raw, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough. It's a tough thing. I think that's like one of the many things that like makes YouTube harder than it appears, you know.
It's very hard.
Yeah. You think I've had this conversation with Brian BKXE a few times about like how it was really fun for a lot of people to watch his channels, but at the same time, he kind of made people have maybe some unrealistic expectations of it, where it was like, hey, I start this channel and like a couple months later, I'm like quitting my job and now I'm flying around the world. And like at the time that he was quitting his job, he had like 5,000 subscribers. Anybody that has a channel that has 5,000 or more subscribers knows that 5,000 subscribers, you're getting like nothing.
Exactly.
Like less than $100 a month if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So to like quit your job and be like, hey, I got this thing where I'm making less than $100 a month, I'm going to quit my job, is crazy ballsy.
Yeah.
And he definitely if you were to go back and watch those videos, like he does say like, hey, I'm living on my savings right now, but you don't really get it, because you're just kind of like watching it. You're like, oh yeah, he's living on savings, whatever, dude. He's got 5,000. He just quit his job. Like, who would quit their job to live off their savings and a job that's making them $100 a month, maybe?
Right. Yeah. But I think people think that, like, I just had a conversation yesterday with somebody locally. They're like, oh, you do that YouTube thing, so like that's all you do? I was like, no. Yeah. Like not even close, because like you said, it's like $100 a month.
Even still, I mean, I'm at what, 12,000 subscribers. I think I get barely over $100 a month from YouTube.
Yeah.
And granted, I don't do as many videos as I used to. Like if I was doing 1 a week or 2 a week, then you would be making a little bit more, but I'm doing like 1 a month, maybe 2 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you guys can do the math, but like, it's like, it's not super lucrative. If it wasn't for Patreon, like monetarily, like the channel would be bust. Like it wouldn't, the only reason that at that point that I would be making any kind of content would be strictly because of, I'm just wanting to make a video and see if people enjoyed it, you know?
Yep.
And I had this conversation with Paul Punter about like, he's like, oh, well, you're always telling people like join your Patreon. If it wasn't for them, you'd quit. Like, so you're saying you only do it for the money. And it's like, yes and no. I'm a person that's motivated by money. So like, yes, you could say I'm doing it in that manner, but I think the reason for me, like those people that are on Patreon are like, they're giving part of their like hard-earned money. So I feel like I owe it to them to like make something. Right. Not necessarily like if it wasn't for the money, I wouldn't do it. It's more like the principle of like doing it to like give the value to the people that are giving me. Does that make sense? Or am I rambling?
No, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I've still like I have a Patreon and I struggle to even know what to do with it. And so I've kind of even stopped promoting it because I don't have very many Patreons anyways, but it's just, I don't know. Yeah. I kind of like the way you've done it where you're just like, it's like a tip jar basically.
Yeah.
Like here you give me $1 and don't really expect anything from it. You're just supporting the channel.
Yeah. Well, like I think originally I had like this different perspective of it, and I think it was because of, what some of the other channels were doing or whatever. And so you kind of try to mimic that, especially like whatever the big guys are doing. You're like, oh, that must be how you do it. Mm-hmm. And then I got to a point where I was like realistically, like if you join somebody's like $5 a month, like for the most part, you're usually getting like a sticker pack or a shirt or a something. You get that the first month. You don't normally get that like every 2 months, or it's not like a subscription where you keep getting like merchandise. There's a few guys out there that'll do it like once a year or something like that. But for the most part, you're just supporting the channel.
Right.
And I think whenever I broke it down like that to myself, then I was like, just giving people like, you're setting these couple of tiers so that people can like have something where they're like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Like anybody could go on there and they could pledge whatever you want. You could pledge like 37 cents or $62.25. Like it's like up to you what you pledge. The tiers are really just there so that people are like, oh, okay, that sounds good. Mm-hmm. And then okay, you can throw some benefits in there, but I don't know. At least for me, everybody that I've ever paid for on Patreon, like the level, like whatever their benefits are, like have absolutely nothing to do with why I've chose to like do that. Or is it the same for you?
Pretty much. I think there's a couple people, although I think they've even changed. Like I know Alex and Brian both had, I think, their second tier, so you could have their audio podcast once a month, which I like to listen to.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So that was, I think, one thing, but I think they both, or I think Brian's talking about just changing his to one tier only.
Yeah.
Just too much. It's too confusing.
Yeah. And I think it's just, it's a lot to manage, especially I would imagine the bigger your channel gets, like the more that you're juggling. So it's easier just to like have one thing.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. I guess I got a long way to go until I have to worry about that.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah. But, hey, it's still really fun though. And I think that's the part where there's been times when I've been really down on myself or down on the channel, and I didn't there's been a couple of times like this TV screen that I have in front of me. I used to have stickers all over it. And one night I was out here having beers and I was like, I'm fucking over it. I'm done with YouTube. And I pulled all the stickers off my TV. I'm like, this is going to be just a TV the way that I originally wanted it to be, just for watching football in my backyard. And just like sometimes you just you're over it. I don't remember where I was going, but anyways, it's tough, what the hell was I going to say? No, I don't see. That's tough too. Even remembering your train of thought, like right from a minute ago. Next thing you know, you're done. But what were we saying right before that?
We were talking about Patreon, and then I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, the different tiers. I think that's what it is. Fuck it, it's done. Anyways, so it's difficult. It's a difficult thing to do, and I think we can just go ahead and move on from that. You said that you were riding one bike at the beginning of your channel, and then you started writing something else. And I remember hearing like you had a like a bike sponsor, huh?
Well, yeah, it was more of like a brand ambassador deal. Like it wasn't like a full sponsorship. Like didn't pay me. I just got a really good deal on their bikes.
Oh, okay.
So I was a brand ambassador for them for DaVinci bikes up here in Canada.
Oh, that's super cool.
So I had a couple bikes from them. The one still there, that one there, that's the DaVinci Spartan, which I'm still riding. But I have no deal for next year. That was just a 1 year deal sort of thing. And I did a bit of that last year. I think I got a little gun ho. Like I went into 2020 with around 5,000 subs and sent out a bunch of emails to a bunch of different companies and got some people on board and thought that, wow, that's really cool. Like people want to support the channel, but it ends up being almost too much of a burden at some point. When you need to do content and you sometimes don't feel like it, or you don't feel like you have good content, but you just do something or post something anyways, because you have to do that every week. And so going into next year, I mean, well, this year kind of ended up being such a weird year anyways, obviously with like all my plans for this year kind of got squashed. So like I was planning to do some racing and stuff but down in the States, and I can't even get into the States right now. So how did the bike thing come across? Just like you cold called and sent them an email and just like, hey, hook me up. It was actually more through my local bike shop, talking to them, and they were a DaVinci dealer. And they just said, hey, we're looking for local ambassadors. Is this something you'd want to do? So it's kind of more through the local bike shop than DaVinci itself. Oh, right on. Yeah. That works though, dude. Yeah. It worked good, but then the bike shop ended up dropping DaVinci halfway through the year. So it was a little weird, but yeah. That is kind of weird. But I mean, so did they want you to represent the bike company, or did they want you to represent the bike shop? Kind of both. Oh, I see. Yeah. So like they called DaVinci and was like, hey, this guy will promote your bike and us if you hook him up, or you let us hook him up. And then they were like, yeah, go for it. And then they dropped DaVinci and you're like, all right, well, free bike day. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a super deal. And in hindsight, I think I got kind of like, wow, somebody wants to support the channel. Okay. Like good. Where do I sign sort of thing? And it wasn't even that big of a deal. Like I probably shouldn't have maybe jumped in as fast as I did, but it looked cool. It's exciting though, Yeah. Yeah.
I know at the beginning of my, like when I started, like the first, like anybody that wanted to send me something, I'd be like, yeah, send it out, do a video. And now I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
And then I started doing this thing that I heard Seth say on one of his videos, and I was like, that's the best way to go about it. Is they're like, hey, you want this free thing? And you say, you can send it to me, and I won't promise you I do a video, but if it really wows me, I will.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them, that like gets rid of like 95% of them don't want to send you anything at that point.
Yeah.
And then if anybody else does, then it's like you don't have to walk around with this like this like debt grudge on yourself. I don't know what you would say. Like you
obligation.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Dude, I have these they're not sitting right by me, or I'd hold them up to the camera. I know you guys have probably seen like a video on Facebook or Instagram like trying to sell this shit. It's like a little metal step that like clicks onto your seat belt, like, or the way that your door closes on your car, so that you can like step up on it and like get things on the roof. Have you seen that?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So like I always kind of I like used to have an SUV, so I still would use a roof rack because I'm tall, so I could like throw my stuff up, my bikes up there pretty easy. I'd just kind of step on the side step and then put it up there. It wouldn't be a big deal. And I always kind of wondered about those things, because sometimes like if you wanted to like get up to the roof to like, I don't know, tie something down or whatever, I was like, I always wondered if those things really worked. So I got an email from one of those places that was like, you know, one of the 9 billion places on Amazon that sells like some refurb model of the guy who actually invented it, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, do you want this? And I was like, yeah, I'll do a video. And I like, at the time there was something I was going to film that it would have made sense for me to kind of like throw it in there as like a little side thing. And they sent it to me, and then like whatever that reason was went away. And then they like followed up with me like every freaking like 72 hours for like 3 months about where the video was. I still haven't done the video.
Yeah.
And I still actually haven't even tried to use them, because I think in my mind I was like, well, I'm going to try it when I do the video.
Yeah.
And so if you guys see those steps in one of my videos, now you know why.
Yeah. Yeah, I get people emailing me and sending, like, wanting to send me stuff that it's like, have you seen the channel? Like, it's a mountain bike channel. Why do you want to send me a watch?
Oh, dude, I got that email.
Yeah.
It's like, I got an email from a company that said they wanted to give me a watch, and like 98% of the stuff on their website was like women's lingerie or swimsuits. Yeah. And then there was like men's section, and it was like 3 watches, and that's what they wanted to get me on, was the watch. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah. It's probably the same company,
right?
Yeah.
See, this is what it's like being a big 8,000 to 12,000 YouTuber. You get fucking bullshit watches, obviously, sent to you, allegedly sent to you for a sponsorship deal. You're not quitting your job, but you will have a knockoff watch that probably will die in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So is it like what you thought it was going to be, being at 8,000 subscribers?
No, I mean, I don't know. If you would have asked me 2 years ago, 8,000 subs would seem crazy, but it's kind of the same as it was.
Yeah.
Since it was been 1,000 subs, it's just kind of keeps going about the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, you know, like that. Where does it feel like you like? At what point does it feel different than that? Is it like 100,000? I
don't know. I think it's maybe once you get some sort of a viral video that crosses over.
Yeah.
Like, I think right now I only show up to people on YouTube that are searching for mountain bike stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have to somehow break free of that. I don't know how, but I think that's the ticket. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Like, honestly, because like I haven't had a viral or like a pretty like crazy video, like a video that's really taken off, you know. Mm-hmm. Like I think my best video has probably got like 30,000 views.
Right.
You know, where like even Cobra Kyle last time.
He was saying like 200 or 1,000.
A couple 100,000, you know, on some of his. I think it was like 2 or 3 videos that he had that were like that. So it's like, dude, that would be crazy to see, you know.
I think my biggest is 60,000.
Right. What was that?
It was just a review, a bike review of the new Trek Roscoe. And it was just, I don't even have the bike. I just basically went to the website and talked about it. So it was like pretty low effort, but it got a lot of views.
See, that's one of those things, dude. You don't know. You don't know. Like, Like, here's a dude that doesn't even have the bike that's just talking about it on the website.
Yeah.
And that's enough for like 60,000 people to watch. And here's like, on the other hand, you could have a video that you spent 2 weeks on, like laboring the shit out of.
Yeah.
And get like 2,000 views.
Yeah. Well, I think even Cobra, Kyle said last week, that was his big video is a video similar. Wasn't it like hardtails under 1,200 or something? And he was just going through websites and talking about specs. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
That's what I need to do. That's it. My next video is going to be me online looking at freaking Amazon.
Yeah. Or Santa Cruz.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I
should do that. Somebody, I don't know if it was on one of my podcasts or in person. Somebody was telling me about this guy that has a channel that like only talks about treks.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was Cobra Kyle that was telling me that. But his like channel's like huge, they said. Like, and that's all he does is like go through like the specs of each model and like what's changed, and like he doesn't even have all the bikes.
Yeah.
You know? Son of a gun. You think I would have came up with something by now? I've been doing this for like 4 years. Nothing. Well, I appreciate all the guys that are here though. It's crazy. I don't even know how, like, I don't know where I thought I was going to be. Where did you think you were going to be, like, when we were on this podcast last time?
I think I said on that podcast 2 years ago, if I was at the end of 2019, if I had like 2,500 subs, I'd be like happy, because I would be like, you know, just like doubling plus a little bit of where I was at. And I think I ended up at like 5,000 at the end of that year.
Damn, dude. You killed
it. But then you start thinking, well, okay, well, by the end of 2020, I want to be at 10.
Yeah.
And then you're only at 8. So you're, you know, 8's great, but you're kind of setting yourself up and you're a little disappointed. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I attribute your growth to the B1KER Bar Podcast. I just want to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, as soon as you round, 2 million, I expect my endorsement check by around here.
Yeah.
So, like in your video that you put out not too long ago, you kind of stepped back a little bit, huh?
Well, yeah. Like I was really consistent. Like I posted at least one video a week since I started the channel in 2018. Up until about this fall sometime, and then I just took a week off, and then I took another week off, and then took a week here and a week there. Like I wasn't very consistent, and it just became too much. It was just, I felt like I didn't know what kind of videos to make. I didn't know what people wanted to watch, and I was saying no to go on rides because it's like, okay, I was already there last week. I don't want to go there again. I want to do something else. But then it's like, well, I'm doing it just to make a video, and that just kind of didn't feel right either. So yeah, I just wanted to take a step back and actually try to make videos I want to make again.
Yeah, I can relate with you, dude.
Yeah.
I think the thing for me, and maybe you can, I think you touched on this a little bit earlier, but I think the thing for me is whenever, like I was joking earlier, like, man, I wanted to get some free stuff, but whenever I have the obligation of doing videos for this like X product, it then actually kind of makes me want to do it less.
Right.
Which is like, doesn't make any sense at all, but like, then it's that obligation that makes you not want to do it. I don't know why. It's like, going to school when you're in high school or something like that. Like, because I have to, I don't want to, and
yeah.
And I think that as a like way to signify your success to you when you're starting, success is like maybe signified by getting deals and getting products and having videos to do. And so you like load yourself up with them. And unless that's something that you really enjoy making videos about, most of us that I've talked to don't really enjoy those videos, because it's like, well, I have to talk about this thing. And like, maybe I didn't want to,
Right.
Like maybe, yeah. Or like, maybe I'm stoked about this, but I want to ride it and use it for like 6 months and then talk about it.
Right. Or something like I've gotten things where it's like, oh, well, these are aluminum handlebars. What else am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's whenever, it's tough, so I think too, as I've been doing it more though, then my like, way that I talk to companies about like how I'm going to represent the product is not like, I'm going to do a 15-minute video about your product. It's more like, it'll be in a video. I'll talk about it. That could be 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that could be all it is. But that's not, I mean, that it has to fit in with the content. And then it also has to like fit for me to like actually want to do it, you know?
Right. Yeah. I really like the guys that are like, hey, we don't expect anything, but you know, if you want to put this on your bike or use it,
yeah,
that's all we ask. And
yeah.
That's so much easier.
Yeah. And I think, you know, it like you don't want to be like selling your like selling your soul for something either, you know, and it's kind of tough whenever you get something for free to like always be 100% like, this is how I feel about it. No fucks given. You know what I mean? Like you feel like you don't want to poop on it, but you also don't want to like lead your subscribers like astray of like, hey, this thing sucks. Like, so it's like this balancing act. At least it is for me.
Yeah, for sure. I totally get that. And you said something there about selling your soul. And I kind of feel a little bit about that earlier this year when I did the deal with Da Vinci.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, I ended up getting rid of the bike that I love, like, and then I brought it back just recently because I do love the bike, but I just couldn't ride it. And it just kind of felt like I was doing it just because I wanted a deal.
Yeah.
You know,
that's why I keep telling people I'm holding out for Santa Cruz, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'll keep riding them unless something else comes up that I'm like absolutely in love with. Like the only bike company that I'm looking for a deal from is Santa Cruz because I fucking love riding their bikes.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it'll be really easy for me to talk about them and show people how stoked I am because every one of them that I ride, I'm stoked about. And the ones that I don't buy.
Right.
You know, like, so if you guys see me on a sudden, like representing some other brand, it must be really good to get me like off of my Santa Cruz. So,
right.
You know, I always feel funny whenever I'm like doing those like sneak posts on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Like, guess what bike I got? Everybody's like, dude, it's a Santa Cruz. It's just what model,
right? Yeah.
So you got some handlebars from P&W not too long ago. I remember it.
Yeah, like P&W I've worked with for a couple of years. They've been pretty cool. They're
super fun to work with.
Yeah, like they're easy to work with. They don't really expect too much, and I still work with them. Fun MTB as well. They've been great, but those are the kind of relationships I want. They don't really expect too much, you know.
Yeah, or they put the value in what you do, and they just leave you to do what you're doing. Like, like with P&W, like they'll send me something, or I'll ask them, you know, hey, in particular, like, hey, I saw you release this. I'd really like to try it. Okay, let's shoot it to me, and they just know it's going to be in a video. It might be in a couple of videos. It might be on 50 freaking Instagram posts, or it might be on 5, you know, like one way or the other, like I'm going to talk about the product. Yeah. So buy an RC truck and have a new kind of fun on the trail. Somebody says in the chat here. Yeah. Is this Kevin? Kevin says that. What's up with, like, let's talk about this. How do you feel about Seth doing RC content?
I mean, I think it's fine on his, his secondary channel. It's fun. I don't know. I feel like Seth can do whatever he wants and people are going to watch it.
Yeah. I always joke that I'd watch that guy install a toilet, dude.
Exactly. Yeah.
I agree with you. Like, and I feel like his Burn Peak Express channel is really his way to his crossover, like you were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you make content that's okay for everybody? That's what Burn Peak Express is.
Right.
And my assumption is that the Burn Peak Express channel gets bigger than the Seth Bike Hacks channel.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I kind of like the laid back approach to it a little better. I feel like I actually get to know Seth better through those videos because he's talking to the camera. It's not scripted. Yeah. Whereas other videos are big production and you don't really seem to get to know him as well. Yeah, totally. I see what you're saying. Yeah. And I think the reason that he did that was because when he started, he's not a person that wants to be like on the camera. So it would be easier for him to like write a script and like think about what he wanted to say and make a video that way. Yeah. I know for me, when I started, I was like, I want to be like no script. I would just want to go freaking like wing the whole thing and like
that'll be cool for people to be like, oh wow, this guy just out here just saying it, and now I'm like, dude, why didn't I think about this? No wonder I only have 12,000 subscribers.
And same thing. I'll go back and forth doing videos where I talk to the camera while I'm riding, or I'll do a voiceover because I just wasn't feeling anything to say while I was riding, so I'll have to do a voiceover later.
I used to do this thing where it would be like, I just want to like talk to the camera while I'm riding, right? So it'd be like, if I had something I wanted to talk about, let's just say I wanted to talk about like, hey, join my Patreon, right? I'm going to do this while I'm doing this downhill section. So then it's like fun to watch, and like I can get my point across at the same time, right?
Right.
And now I'm like I'm in this spot where it's like when I'm filming, I'm kind of trying to like wean myself off of that, like talking to the camera all the time. Cause now I'll actually be like trying to tell some story. And I'm like, for God's sakes, Rob, is there at least like 20 seconds of video of you not talking that I can use to get this B-roll in here?
Yeah.
So I need to shut myself up is what I'm trying to do.
And it all depends too. The people I ride with, I don't know about you, but I know there's a group of my friends that I ride with that are okay with it, and another group that they are okay with it, but they don't seem as okay with it. So I just kind of put the camera on and just ride. I don't try to do anything.
100%, dude.
But other people are more open to me. Okay, let's stop. Let's set up a camera if you don't mind, and we'll kind of session something. And
I lost a few like riding friends when I started my channel because they were like not in the mood for that at all. Changing batteries and like, oh, let me go set this camera down here and then we can ride by and then I'll go walk back up the hill and get it. Like, dude, I'm trying to get some like ride in and go home. I don't want to hang out with you all day. So now all my friends are the ones that are okay with it.
Or riding with other YouTubers is great because they totally understand it.
For sure.
I
think the thing though, like where I'm at now is probably in a much better spot. I wish I could have been in this spot. And I feel like there's some other channels that I watched that like started this way and I don't know how they did it, but like where I'm just like way more laid back about, hey, I'm doing like a video a month. It's like no stress, do what I want to do. I can still ride freaking 10 other rides during the month that I don't have a camera on, and I can ride the same trail over and over again. And, and it feels better, and it's like, it took me a while to get to a point where like, I didn't really care if the channel was really doing better. Like I do care. Like, I can't say that I don't care, but I definitely don't like have as much of a like intrinsic value on the subscriber count as I did when I first started.
For sure. Yeah, I totally get you. Like I've even like this past couple months, I've ridden probably, I don't know, 20 times and I've only recorded one ride out of that. Just because I just want to just get back to riding.
You don't want to take the fun out of it, man. I mean, the whole reason that you started the channel was because you were doing something you love, and then you like turned it into a job, and then all of a sudden you don't love it anymore. It's tough though, because this is the thing. There's like a lot of gratification in reading comments and getting likes and seeing subscribers. Like it's like this like dopamine thing that you can't really explain, but it really feels good.
I think it's recognition. You want people to recognize you're doing something good. Because somebody asked me there a couple of weeks ago, I was riding and they're like, why do you do the YouTube? Like why? Like, why do you want to do that? And I kind of didn't know what to say. I don't know why I do it, but I think the more I thought about it, I think it's recognition. You just want to feel like you're doing a good job and people like it.
Yeah. Like you matter.
Yeah.
If we got more hugs from our dad when we were little, dude, we wouldn't have to run these stupid channels, dude. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna blame my parents. It would be American of me if I sued them. I should sue my parents for not doing a good job. Oh God, I live in California. I'd win for sure too. Oh man, I'm going after everyone. My third grade teacher for letting me bullshit my way through my multiplication. I don't know about you, but I did not actually learn my multiplication in whatever grade that was. I like memorized them for like the test. And then like 70 seconds later, did not know what any of them are. Like I would have these friends that you could still be like to this day, like, what's 12 times 12? And they'd be like, boom, there's a number. I'm like, I don't know. Let me get my phone out.
No, I memorized all that stuff, but I mean, I know it, but I don't know if you've seen the new math or some of the ways that kids do stuff now. And I was like, wow, like, I don't even understand what they're doing.
It looks like the Matrix to me.
Yeah.
It's like numbers falling out of the sky and like those movies where all of a sudden you see like the white marker across the screen. I'm like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
I'm so glad that my kids are like old and like past that stage in life where I don't have to have anything to do with it.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
Oh, my daughter is 18 and my son is 20.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. They're about the same. My daughters are 17 and 19. So they're kind of pretty much grown up.
Yeah. My son's out of the house. He's been out of the house for a while. And my daughter is like doing her senior year. So my kids were like, I want to say it was like the class behind my daughter. My daughter's younger. It was like the class behind her that was like, they're starting the Common Core thing. And I remember being like, whew, wiping my brow, like, sweet, dodged a bullet there. Yeah. That stuff is crazy. I don't even know where. I couldn't imagine. Could you imagine being a parent that had to like do your kid's school right now, like for like an elementary kid?
No, I couldn't at all.
Yeah, I'd be, dude, it would be horrible.
Yeah,
I'd like put him in front of the YouTube and like go down. I can't even go to the bar. I was gonna say I'd go down to the bar and be like Homer Simpson. And I'm like, wait a minute, can't even do that.
I know.
What would Homer do? That's why I need a shirt. What would Homer do? Just choke him a little bit. It'll be
yeah.
Oh God. You know, it makes me wonder like what would happen if you like tried to bring the Simpsons out in 2020? Would that go over? Do you think?
I don't know. Maybe. It's hard to say. Things are so like I even listened to old podcasts from 10 years ago and what they could get away with saying 10 years ago. Right. Or even 5 years ago. It's like now they'd get in shit if they said it.
Right. I like made my kids watch all the movies that I loved when I was a kid. So like they watched like the Goonies and, you know, Ferris Bueller's Day Off and like Short Circuit. I remember being super excited to show them Short Circuit, and I probably should have screened it before I did that. But I remember being in like second grade watching it, and that shit was funny. Yeah. And you watch it like with today's like mindset, and I was like, they're dropping this bomb and that bomb, and like your mother was a snowblower, and they're talking about she's just a dumb bitch anyway, you know. And you're like, what? I don't remember any of that. And I think that's like, I think that comes down to like the way that we were parented was like, you just don't like, that's just not appropriate. And I think that's kind of like why I raised my kids, like with the cussing thing that I was talking about earlier. It's just like, yeah, it can be around you all day long, and it doesn't have to be who you are. Yeah. And for some reason today, they think if you hear like, you know, some cuss words or a nipple slips on freaking national television, that everybody should die. You know? Yeah. I don't know. Here I am. Somebody said I'm getting therapy out of doing YouTube. You guys are along for the ride. You know what I was thinking about doing next week on the podcast was doing like I always want to be interviewed. Nobody wants to interview me though. So I was like, this is it. I'm over it. I'm tired of waiting for some other podcast to call me up and some other YouTube channel to call me up and have me be interviewed. I'm going to interview myself. And so it's like a two birds with one stone thing. Cause like I was thinking to myself that I have done a boatload of like marathon live streams on the Biker channel, but that was mostly just me like getting drunk and you guys watching it. But I really want to do a podcast and like see if I can like actually carry it without like just have my own kind of conversation for that long of the time, you know? Right. It's scary to me, which is weird because I just like have done, like I said, so many live streams that are like 3-4 hour long. Yeah. And you're good at it. I think if I did it, it'd be over in 5 minutes. Yeah. And I don't, and that's the thing is I don't understand why I'm afraid of it. I think it's because like whenever I've live streamed, like I go on with the pure fact of like, I don't know what I'm doing. And whenever it gets boring to me, I'm going to stop. So like it could be 30 minutes and I could just shut up and be like, all right, I'm over it. See you later.
Yeah.
Even though I don't, but like, I think because I have that option, you know what I mean? But if I start a pod, like a biker bar and I'm like 5 minutes in, and I'm like, all right, I'm over it. I don't like, I'm panicking.
Yeah.
You did a podcast for a while, right?
Yeah, I was doing one with Tyler from Good Trails. He's in the chat there. We had a podcast, YouTube podcast earlier this year. And we were just like, it was like out of the season sort of talking with, we talked with some trail builders and just had a couple guests on here and there, but it was just hard to find guests, especially going live.
Yeah.
And then just trying to get, it was fun to do. It was just hard to get the people and the schedules. And I think we did like 4 or 5 episodes and it was fun. And
yeah.
We might bring that back this winter. Who knows? Yeah.
Whenever you run out of other stuff to do, you're like, let's do a podcast.
Yeah.
Everybody else is doing it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened to me. I mean, I did, like 50 episodes, but like, it was kind of like the same thing. I like did it until I was like, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
And then I stopped. And then as soon as I stopped doing it, it took a couple of months. And then I was like, I miss doing that.
Yeah.
So here we are again. I'm working my way up to being tired of doing it again.
Yeah.
But where I screwed up last time is when I got tired. I didn't really tell people I was tired of it. I just stopped.
Right.
And this time I'm going to be like, that's it, guys. This is the last episode until season 3. And I don't know when that's going to be. So enjoy it.
Right.
But whatever.
Yeah.
So did you go ahead?
Go ahead.
So did you, you were pulling the audio off of it and putting that to a podcast format as well?
Yeah. Yeah. We were, put that out there through, I don't know, one of the distributing sites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah. I love listening to podcasts. So I always thought it'd be cool to have that out there, have it on Spotify or iTunes or whatever for people to listen to,
right?
driving or whatever.
Yeah. Or like if you're a person that like goes to the gym and runs on a treadmill or like sits on a spin bike or something like that, like podcasts are really fun for that.
Yeah.
I love music, dude. I mean, I like really love music. I mean, I went to school for being a studio engineer,
Oh, that's
like
cool.
I the reason I live in California is because I wanted to be a rock star. Like, like I really love music, but you can only listen to music for like so long until it starts getting boring.
Right.
Like, and that's really hard for me. It really is really hard for me to like come to terms with that. But it was like whenever I would commute on my bicycle to work. That was like an hour ride each way. And you're doing that like 5 days a week. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I'm done with classic rock this week. I'm done with country. I'm done with hip hop. I'm done with rap. Like you're like, you can't cycle back to anything else because you're just tired of hearing the same songs over and over again.
Yeah.
And then that's when the podcast like finally came to me. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And it's fun because you can just zone out, you're like, oh, wow, I was listening to this guy's talk for a minute and now I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. I love podcasts, especially like my commute's probably half an hour, 40 minutes each direction, and podcasts are the best.
Yeah. Anything that you listen to, like, do you like true crime or like, what do you like to listen to?
I do some true crime. I do it like your podcast or like Brian or Seth or Alex. If they put out something, I'll listen to that. That's usually all at the beginning of the month though. There's just some kind of comedy variety shows I listen to as well, which are kind of cool. There's one, it's, I don't know if anybody out there knows like the Jason Ellis show that used to be on Sirius XM.
No, I don't know.
They have a couple different podcasts I listen to because it's not on Sirius XM anymore. So it's all on podcasts. So I'll listen to that. It's kind of like a Howard Stern kind of show. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. So he does like interviews with people, but then kind of like talks and makes fun of stuff along the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Totally. I get it.
Yeah.
I like this one that I listen to. It's called Heavyweight.
Yeah.
And they're pretty short episodes. And the reason I'm bringing it up because I just did a little drive down to Santa Cruz to ride over the weekend. So I was listening to his on there, and he does like what's a good way to explain it? Like somebody had something that happened in their past. Like let's say in third grade, your third grade teacher was like the most inspirational person to you. And somewhere in the middle of the year, you moved away and you never knew whatever happened to them. And you always wondered, right?
Yeah.
And some like, and later in your life, you ended up becoming, you know, a novel writer because of what they taught you in the class, and you want to tell them thank you. So like this guy, then like you contact this guy with your story, and then he goes out and finds your third grade English teacher and gets you back together, and you guys talk about it, and it's like a feel good moment. So it's like kind of like that. That's like an example of like the type of what the episode is, and the episode's maybe like 30 to 40 minutes long, and he's got this like dry kind of sense of humor in the way that he like tells the story and stuff like that, and it's really fun to listen to.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, there's so much good content out there. And it's like when you listen to these different ones, you're like, you want to be like, I don't know, at least for me, I'm like, man, I want to do something fun like that. And then it's like, well, but I'm not good at that. I'm good at talking about bikes though.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I'm actually looking at starting up another podcast, totally unrelated to biking, with a friend of mine doing stuff on music. Because we're both in a band together, and that's all we talk about is music and stuff. And thought we'd just do something like that. I don't really know what we'll talk about, but just stuff to do with music. And, you know, I'm sure there's a million other podcasts like that, but it'll be fun to do.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Something totally different than mountain biking. So
I got an idea, dude. You guys should like pick a CD every podcast and just go through, like, talk about the CD. Yeah. Like you could dig up the old ones. Like, okay, this week we're going to talk about Guns N' Roses' Appetite Destruction.
Yeah.
You know, and like, oh, this is how I felt when that video came out, and this is why I love this song, and this riff is awesome, and I remember learning this on the guitar. That would be super fun to listen to.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because like we're kind of like that. Like we'll go camping together and stuff, and I'll start. You know, it all kind of got started because we went camping together, and I had all these obscure facts about 80s bands. I'm like, did you know that guy he wrote this song for this band, but it ended up being a hit for that band, or stuff like that? And they're like, how do you know all this stuff? And I'm like,
right.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that would be super fun, dude. I think that would be super fun. And I want my endorsement check whenever you guys.
All right.
I'm really good at coming up with ideas and not following through with any of them. So
yeah, I can kind of be bad for that too sometimes. That's why I started the YouTube. I'm like, I'm just going to start making videos. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll just start.
Right.
Yeah.
At least the name of your channel is like, it doesn't, well, I guess, is it Toogy Howser MTB, or is it just Toogy Howser?
It's Toogy Howser MTB.
Oh, see, you screwed up. Never mind.
Why's that?
I was saying, like, your channel name, like, you could, like, if it was just Toogy Howser, like, you could make content about anything.
Oh, yeah. Because actually,
I got 8,000 mountain bikers. Tricked ya. We're talking about music now.
Actually, I had a discussion with the guy that designed my logo, because I was like, hey, can you just make it Toogy Howser? Because it does say MTB in the actual logo. Like you can see behind me there.
Yeah, I see
the MTB there. So I was like, can you just like redesign it without the MTB? And he's like, why? And I was like, the same thing. I was like, I just want to maybe do other stuff on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of like coming from a brand perspective, saying like, you should maybe just leave it for now.
Mm-hmm.
And then just see if, make some other videos you want to make and see how it goes. But I wouldn't change it yet.
Yeah.
Because I've thought about that. I've wanted to do, like, I've done a couple of videos on the gravel bike that haven't done that great, but I also want to do some van stuff. Like I'm getting a van next year, like not crazy van build stuff, but just, doing some adventure stuff with it, building it out a little bit.
Yeah, but I think you can still be an MTB channel and not have to like those things, that content crosses, like it's the same thing.
Right. But I'm looking at doing, like, I'm big into, I watch a lot of adventure videos on YouTube, like people just driving around finding, weird places, or like, like and stuff like that. And I've kind of been wanting to do stuff like that, like maybe try to integrate the mountain biking into it somehow, but I'm not sure how yet.
Yeah, I think what you do is you kind of like do those videos here and there to kind of test the water.
Yeah.
And then probably what your buddy was saying too is like drop the MTB like slowly. Just don't tell anybody, Just replace it one week with like some maple leaves down there or something like that. Nobody will notice. Like they'll be like, oh yeah, there used to be something on the bottom of the logo.
Yeah.
Then you just slowly like make those other videos more and more. Because I think as people like watch your channel, like the more they watch it, the less they watch it for the mountain biking and the more of just like to be entertained by you.
Right. Right.
At least that's the way I feel about it. I mean, that's how Seth duped us all, right?
Yeah.
Like he pulled us in with the biking, and now we're like, oh yeah, drive your RC car around. We're in.
Yeah.
I mean, he did one with this dog chasing a freaking broom around the trails, dude. And we're like, yeah, this is awesome.
That was a fun video. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I remember it's like something's like, I don't know. That he's got it down. But he said, wait a minute, is that his? I think it might just be on his Patreon right now. Are you on his Patreon?
Yeah.
That video he just put out with him addicted to the RC cars. Is that online yet?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure I watched it yet, but I think I saw
it.
it.
If it is or it isn't, I'm spoiler alert. Like he says in there that he got a little burned out with his Seth Bike Hacks channel.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason, like kind of why he's like doing what he's doing now. And even so, I think the point of what I was getting at is like even Seth, like that it's tough.
Yeah, I could see somebody in his position, it'd be even way more pressure. Like that's what he has to do, Yeah. And I've even heard some of his podcasts where he's like, I maybe want to do a video, like doing a product review or 5 things about this or that, but he's not going to get the views on it. And he knows that. Mm-hmm. So he won't even make the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I guess that's what you rely on. Like for us, it's just extra, right? We can do whatever we want. And if the video doesn't do well, we kind of, it sucks, but it's not like it's our livelihood.
Yeah. It's not like paying the house payment and the guy that works for you and all that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to be like Mr. Beast and go out and make videos about me giving $1 million to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be crazy? Dude, have you like ever looked at like the revenue that those guys make?
No, but I can imagine it's pretty crazy.
It's friggin' insane. Like that's why they can do a video where they give $100,000 away, because that video is going to make more than that.
Yeah.
Like that's stupid to think about when they're doing that like every week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Like that's the kind of money that's coming in from those channels.
Yeah.
It's insane. And then you have somebody like PewDiePie that just like gets on there and gets videos about him like talking shit and whatever the hell else he does. Like how's that guy making that kind of money?
I don't know. I don't understand kids and what they watch on YouTube or what they watch on TikTok or whatever they're doing.
I should have started sooner. Dude, there was like years of people telling me that I should do YouTube that I just ignored them. I was like, whatever, dude. I don't do cat videos.
Right.
Yeah.
What year did you start your channel?
When I actually made my YouTube account was whenever I bought the B1KER domain, and that was because I was doing a different project altogether. I mean, it was still about mountain biking, but it was like the only reason I made the YouTube account was so that I could host the videos that I was putting on my website.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was, let's see, I started this in like dude, I don't even know when I started. It's 2020 now. It's probably been 2016, 2017. So I think I made that account in like 2011 or something like that,
right.
2010. And it was easily like 4 or 5 years before that when people were telling me like, dude, you should do YouTube. Like you're entertaining, you're funny. Like, and I'd just be like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, man, like, if you would have started in 2015 or whatever, even then would have got you ahead of the game.
If I would have made the video, like if I would have finished the website project that I was working on instead of like fizzling out, like I would have had a boatload of mountain bike content on my channel. Like I would have been starting like around or before like Seth started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not to say that my content would have been good, but let's just say that by the time that mountain bike YouTube started like coming to, then I would have been pretty damn good at making videos. Like I feel like right now, like I'm finally like 3-4 years into this channel, like able to, and no disgrace to the videos that I made when I started, but I'm proud of the videos that I'm making now, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm sure maybe I won't be in like 3 years from now, I'll be like, that stuff was crap too. But but like right now, I really feel like I'm making like better quality content, and that. So if I would have started back then, I would have had that couple of years under my belt and been like raring to go. I think that's why Seth did so well.
Right.
Like yes, he started out making pretty good content, but by the time like people really started paying attention, he was dialed,
Right.
like way dialed,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about your content? You feel like you've grown a lot?
For sure. I feel like, I've definitely got into more of a groove, and I know how to make a video, and I watched some of my older videos, and I think I heard you say last week talking with Kyle, I'll watch an older video that's like 20 minutes long, and I'm like, man, this video could have been 8 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just so much extra stuff I should have cut out of it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm getting pretty good at that. But then I think I also need to switch it up somehow. I don't know. There's just so many just POV video or channels out there. I still do some stuff in the garage, like install videos and stuff, and they actually end up with better views in the long term. They kind of get less views up front, but they build because I think of searches, people searching for those products.
Yeah, totally.
But I don't know. What are your thoughts on the POV videos? Do you think they're kind of played out, or?
I don't think they're played out, but I think that you can't build a channel on them anymore.
Yeah.
Not unless you're like a shredder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got to be like some 19-year-old kid that's not afraid of your bones breaking, or like you got to be like Nate Hill, or you know what I mean, or like Jeff Kendall Weed, or somebody like that. Like, but even at that point, you still have to be able to tell a pretty good story. And I think that those days of like just being able to make a 3 to 5 minute video or 15-minute video, you just rolling down the trail and saying a few things here and there, it's going to get you some views, like some guy that's looking for that trail that wants to see it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's not going to get you subscribers,
right?
And back whenever everybody, like when BKXE was starting, like everybody was subscribing because nobody else was doing that. So like,
right,
you're okay with watching that, right? But like after a while, you're like, okay, something needs to change, or like I'm kind of like, this is boring,
Yeah. And that's why I tried progressing my writing, like having features like, oh, there's this big jump I need to do, or this big drop, and that was kind of a cool angle to go down. But then it gets to a point where you're like questioning, like, how much more can I realistically do without hurting myself?
Yeah. I think the key, like the thing that I've been thinking about lately is like breaking down the video to be more simplistic. So like in the past, I would be like, oh, I need to go ride trail X and do a video about trail X, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm realizing like I could actually go out to a trail and just almost do a whole video on like this, like 2 or 3 features.
Right.
Like this is the one that really scared me, and this is why it scared me, and this is how I get over it. And this is like, or like, I really want to be able to jump off of this rock, and this is how I'm going to do. And I'm going to talk to you guys about like why I'm afraid of it, or like when I did it last, or how I want it to go down, or like, this is what I did to set my bike up for, you know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of the way I'm like trying to make it up as I go to explain it, in a general sense. But I really feel like whenever I started, maybe my concept of a video was much bigger than what it really needs to be.
Right.
Like it can be actually, it doesn't have to be like this, like epic BKXE kind of ride. You know what I mean? It could just be your local place. And it's like, I'm going to go out here and finally conquer that skinny that I never did before.
Yeah.
And that, like, to me in the beginning, like if you would have told me like, go out here and show people how you're going to ride this skinny, like, I'd be like, well, that's like 10 seconds. Like, what else do I talk about?
Right. But I think those videos are actually better when you have a goal or an idea ahead of time.
Because you know, like when you're editing, how quick like you eat up time, right?
Yeah.
Like you do your little intro of like, hey, this is what we're gonna do today, and then maybe you have a little intro to your videos. I don't know if you do or not, and then like you're like 45 seconds, 30 seconds into your video, and then you're like, hey, here we are getting out here. This is where we're at, and I kind of like talking about what you're gonna do again. Now you're 2 minutes into your video, like you know what I mean? Like you can get to 8 to 10 minutes like really quick.
Yeah.
You know? And you're like, now remember those guys I was bitching about earlier about why it's 5 minutes into the video before they actually get to what they're doing?
Yeah.
Like, I get it now. You know?
Yeah.
So, oh, here's a good one here. Double R. That's awesome, by the way. He's a pirate. He says, I found out about Toogy Howser when he was on the B1KER Bar.
Nice.
Right on, dude. He said, check out your channel and just subscribed. See, I am responsible for your success.
Well, thank you.
I want $3 of your 100 right now.
Yes.
So you peeled back a little bit because you were kind of getting burned out from what you said. So where do you have your sights set now?
I'm just gonna, if I have an idea for a video, I'll make a video and just go from there. Try to do, I think I got away a little bit from where the channel started, doing local trail rides, and ended up going all over the place riding, which was fun. But I want to try to maybe dial it back to more on stuff around Ontario, which I kind of had to do this year out of just because I couldn't go anywhere else. And it was kind of fun. Like we ended up doing me and Tyler from the Good Trails channel, because his channel, he was in Ontario as well. So we went on like a road trip up North Ontario for like a week and a half.
Oh, that's fun.
I just like checked out a bunch of places, and it was a cool trip because we just kind of went and winged it, camping wherever we could find a free place to camp, and didn't even really have a plan, but it was cool. Got to check out like Sudbury and North Bay and Sault Ste. Marie and all those places way up North Ontario. So I want to try to do more of that, I think, moving forward. Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been like really, 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 really trying to talk myself into buying a van.
Yeah.
And the lady, I'm really trying to talk the lady into it. She's not buying it at all.
No.
But so like you said earlier, you were talking about doing a van thing. And I think I remember seeing something on your channel. It's kind of like, not like a minivan kind of setup, but like
it is a minivan.
It is. Okay. I couldn't remember if I was like combining another channel's thing with yours or not, but I wasn't sure if it was like a minivan or like the really smallest van or something like that.
No, it's just a regular minivan. It was actually my dad's, and I borrowed it a bunch this year going on trips, but he was going to trade it in, and I was like, don't trade it in. I'll buy it off you. Because now I can actually make some changes to it, because before I couldn't do anything to it. It wasn't mine. So now I'm going to try to do a little bit of work on it to make it a little more friendly for biking or bike trips. I'm not going to go too crazy because it is just a minivan. Although I've seen some pretty crazy minivan conversions.
Do you watch the Shreddist? I had him on the channel.
Yeah.
Have you watched his series on his minivan?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That old Astro van.
Oh, dude, it's so sick.
Yeah,
that's the kind of, like, I think he's like $3,000 into his build. In my mind, that's what I want to do. Yeah. In reality, I'm gonna spend like 50 grand. Like I'm in reality, I'm gonna end up going down to the fucking Ford dealership and buying a truck, and then being like, "What are you doing, Rob?"
Yeah,
and I don't have good planning skills. Somehow it'll play out. I know it'll play out and it'll work out in the long run. But that's probably why the lady's not crazy about it, because she's like, you just wing shit, dude. Like, this is not the kind of money that you can wing shit with. And I'll be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing with the channel that I'm trying to figure out, because it's kind of like YouTube is like anything else. It takes money to make money, or it takes, and it's hard to have the budget for everything I want to do.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It would be fun. That like it would be fun to have like the Mr. Beast kind of budget, where it's like, hey, I got this idea. I'm gonna buy a little island in the Caribbean, and we're gonna go out there and do our own Survivor television show for an episode of our channel.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? like I'm going to go buy every car on this used car sales lot, and then anybody that comes up looking for a car, I'm going to give it to them.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like think about the content that you could make if money was absolutely no object.
I know. Like people even message me, hey, you should come out to BC or fly out to BC. And I mean, yeah, I want to do it. It's just, who's going to pay for that?
Yeah. I was thinking about the other day. I was like, dude, what if I could buy like the brand new Santa Cruz e-bike that just came out, like the $12,000 model, and be like, okay. And they're like, this is carbon CC. This carbon's so good. This bike is like rock solid. And then throw it off the Auburn Bridge, which is like 750 feet up off the ground, and then see what it looks like when it hits the ground. Like that's the kind of crap that I would do if you guys all subscribed. And if I'm at 120,000, I don't know what number. I better watch out what I say, because I did see Colorado Kid on here earlier, and he got caught up in something that he said. So if I'm at 500,000 subscribers, I'll throw a bike off the Auburn Bridge, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
By then, I'm gonna be like, oh God, I wish I wouldn't have said that. There'd be one dude still that'll be still listening to me. You remember?
You'd probably get like 1 million views, but if you actually did it, you'd probably get 1,000 views.
Right? Yeah. I feel like a lot of people would watch that, because I've seen this channel come up on my feed before. There's like a channel that's all they do is throw shit off the top of this building.
Yeah, really?
It's like not a building. It's like what's the bet? Like it's like an Eiffel Tower that they have in their neighborhood kind of thing, like this like metal structure that's up for like to go up and just like look around town or something. Yeah. And they go up there and they like, this is what it looks like if you drop a bowling ball 300 meters. This is what it looks like if you drop a keyboard 300 meters, or like whatever it is. Dude, like just always throwing shit off this thing.
Yeah.
And believe me, dude, I've got sucked in, it's next thing you know, it's on your feet all the time. Like, cause you watch them, chuck a frozen bucket of goldfish off of it or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's like, but this is the thing that kills me, is like, there's a channel like that, and you look at you're like, this is stupid. Why am I watching it? And then you look down at the views, and it's like 4.7 million views.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some channels I watch, and I watch it, so it must be entertaining. Like people are watching it. Like, I watch one channel, Steve Wallace, and he just does camping. And his videos are like 45 minutes long, and he just literally like following him along as he just, sets up his tent, he makes dinner. Like he doesn't cut anything out. But he's got like 500,000 subscribers, and his videos get like 400,000 views. But here I am watching all 45 minutes of it, because I don't know, the dude's entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to understand why.
Yeah.
I watched this video one time about this dude that was like out in the woods, and he like there was like this old tractor that had like overgrowth all over it, and trees growing through it, and he like took all the trees out and like worked on the engine and made it start up, and then he like drove it out of the woods, and it was like, what the hell I don't even like tractors. I don't even like working on a car. I don't even like anything other than the woods. First of all, how did this end up in my feed? And second, why did I watch it?
Was it actually was it like an excavator?
Yeah, it was like
I think I watched that one. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Dude, apparently we're the same demographic, dude. Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So earlier you said you're in a band. What kind of music you guys play?
I'm in a couple different bands, but kind of rock, punk, kind of garage rock sort of stuff.
Right on. Yeah. What do you play?
Guitar or bass, depending on the band. Yeah.
Right on, dude. I play guitar, but like just enough to get laid in high school. That's about how much I know how to play.
That's about all I know how to play.
Oh. Yeah. Damn it. I knew I should have. See, this is me. I just do something for a while and quit. I could have been successful.
Just play punk rock. You don't need to know that much.
Yeah. 3 chords, you'll be good for a few years. 6 chords, and you're a professional, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Right on, dude. Who's your favorite bands? I'm gonna grab a beer while you answer that.
Into a lot of stuff from the 70s and 80s were kind of my main thing. Into like the hair metal in the 80s. I don't know if you remember all the stupid stuff like Motley Crue or Poison or all that stuff. Those are like those are still in heavy rotation.
Right?
Yeah. I feel like everybody, whatever they listened to when they were like 13 to 18, that's just kind of what they get stuck listening to for the rest of their life.
I don't know, man. I'm all over. I like. There's part of me that would have like answered yes to that right away, and then I think about what I listened to, and I can't totally agree.
Yeah,
but I think there's definitely like a good sweet spot for that stuff.
Yeah,
and I was trying to think of this band, and I was like, right when you said the old hair band stuff, and I was like, oh, there's one I want to talk about, and now I'm drawing a blank of what the hell the name of that band is. Well, and I'm going to sit here and stress about it for a few minutes. It's oh man, that's so bad. I can't remember. It'll come to me later. So anyways, so the guy AJ says that they drop stuff onto a trampoline and they do it in slow motion. Yes, it is a trampoline that they're chucking stuff off of there. And then Downhill Dummy says that I should throw a Walmart bike off the bridge, which is actually a great idea. But I don't know if that'll get me the views. Like you guys think that throwing a Walmart bike just to watch some dude chuck a freaking bicycle off a bridge from 700 feet will get enough views?
I don't know. Like there's a video I've thought about doing up here. We have it's a store called Canadian Tire, but it's kind of like it's all across Canada. It's kind of similar to Walmart. Mm-hmm. And they have their own brand of bikes they sell and stuff. And I always wanted to do one, because you guys do all the Walmart videos, like where you take a Walmart bike down the trail and beat the hell out of it. I wanted to do a Canadian Tire bike, but they have no return policy. So it's like, I don't want to be stuck with this $400 Canadian Tire bike that I'm going to trash and then it's mine. Yeah,
that would suck, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I just remembered the band. Do you remember Damn Yankees?
Yeah.
It was like a Ted Nugent band or something like that.
Yeah. They were all right.
They were all right. It was only one CD, right? That's all you needed back then.
Yeah. Yeah, back then you only needed one good song and they would sell a whole CD.
Yeah, and especially if you had a good video to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite music video, dude?
Man, favorite music video.
I'll tell you mine while you think about yours.
Okay.
Dude, my hands down favorite music video. Do they still do music videos?
For YouTube.
Yeah, I guess they do it for YouTube. My favorite video ever is the Beastie Boys Sabotage video.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's done like, for those of you guys that don't know the video, it's like done in this like Cochise 70s, like cheesy bad wig, big mustache, like dressing, and they're like running and sliding over hoods of cars and chasing somebody the whole way through the video. And the song's good too, right? You know, so like it's hard not to like get into it, but I don't know. I just love that video.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I'm drawing a blank, but
I dressed like that for Halloween one year.
Oh yeah. I always loved the Twisted Sister videos from the 80s. Yeah, like We're Not Gonna Take It, and I think it was I Want to Rock, where they I don't know if you remember those videos, but they were pretty cool.
Did they like jump through a wall or something like that? I remember.
Yeah, I think so. Or they throw the guy out the window or something.
Yeah. You know, another one that comes to mind that's pretty good was that Aerosmith video with Run DMC, and they're like one. Yeah, they're on like one side of the wall. And dude, those guys have been around forever,
and totally changed their style.
Yeah, like their first CD, what like Dream On Is On, came out in like 1970.
Yeah,
that's 50 years ago. I couldn't even imagine that.
Well, I know. Like, I was listening to some Led Zeppelin, trying to tell my daughter, like, that's like 50 years old.
Right.
And she's like, it's just hard to even fathom for me to say it's 50 years old.
So my buddy I was in the Army with, he's in the chat right now. And earlier he threw this up. It says, here we are now, entertain us.
So we're supposed to break something?
No, but like, so he's quoting Nirvana, right?
Oh, okay.
So the funny thing about that is like, okay, that is classic rock now.
Oh, I know.
What? You know what I mean? Like, that's so weird. Doesn't even make sense to me.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 43.
Okay, so I'm 46, so close.
Yeah. At least the last time I did the math, I was 43. There's a good chance I might be lying right now, but that's at least how old I think I am.
Right. Yeah, like Guns N' Roses, all that stuff is classic rock now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was like in like, I don't remember where I was, like some freaking elevator somewhere and Nirvana was playing. I was like, dude, Kurt Cobain is rolling over in his grave right now.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that dude was like, maybe that's why he committed suicide. He's like, someday I'm gonna be playing in a freaking elevator and I'm over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's too funny. All right, back to bikes.
So
What are
your plans for next year with the channel? What do you want to do with your channel?
Just keep making content that keeps me from quitting.
Yeah.
Like it sounds ridiculous, but it's really that simple at this point. Like I enjoy doing the channel, but like sometimes I just get frustrated with like, even though I can sit here and tell you not to trip about it or whatever, I can like give advice really well, but I can't take it for shit. Right. Yeah. But I think that's really like, that's my goal. My goal, I'd really like to see this podcast do better. So if you guys haven't subscribed and you're listening right now, hit the button, please. Yeah. Excuse me, I'm burping. And then if you're listening to this podcast, like write a review because that really helps, or I think it does. So I'm just going to keep telling you guys to do it until I find out that it doesn't help. But like, I'd really like to see the podcast do well because I feel like this is a better, really long-term thing for me.
Right.
Like right now I'm 43. Like, is anybody going to want to watch me make videos when I'm like 53 or 63? But like people would be okay to listen to me talk about bikes until I'm like 70.
Right.
You know what I mean? So plus I think I'm better at talking than I am making bike videos.
Yeah.
But video wise, I think I would like to this year kind of like you were saying earlier, there was a bunch of travel that I wanted to do like in 2020 that didn't happen that I'd really like to do. Yeah. I really wanted to go, like I wanted to go to Moab and Colorado and Whistler. So that meant if I planned for 3, I probably was going to do one of them. So, but like maybe those would be the same like 3 places that I'd like, maybe I'll just shoot for one and get like halfway to there.
Right.
Like I want to go to Whistler and I end up going to like Bellingham or something.
Yeah. It's tough to make any plans right now. Like who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I was like telling my family back in Pennsylvania I was going to come home for Christmas. And then like a week later, all of a sudden they're like talking about locking our state down again. And I was like, you know what? I'm not buying a plane ticket right now. This is just dumb.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
How about you? Like,
well, again, like I was hoping to do a bunch of traveling this year, do some racing down in the States and got into shape for that. That was like a big motivator over the winter. Last winter I was on the trainer, 4 or 5 times a week, was in great shape. And then everything kind of got messed up and it kind of totally lost my motivation and hoping, who knows, for next year, I'm hoping to be able to travel a little bit. But if not, I'll just drive all over Ontario and Quebec probably. And there's tons of stuff to ride. It's just I have to drive a really long way.
Yeah. It's pretty big too, right?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. Like if you look, like Ontario is massive.
Yeah. It's like 15 Pennsylvanias or something like that, like it's like compared to our states, it's like pretty damn big.
Yeah. Like, and I'm just like right down on the very southern end of it. So
you're like pretty close to the American border, right?
Yeah. Like probably 2 hours away. So there's tons of stuff to explore, and Quebec has even better riding than Ontario, and it's 10 hours away. So not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it that draws you to racing?
It was just to challenge myself, give me a goal to get in shape and just see how I would do. Right. I wasn't expecting to probably, if I didn't finish last, I would be happy. Right. So I think it was just a goal. Look forward to do something, motivate myself to get in shape and I'm one of those people that need a goal or need like talking about bands earlier. If the band doesn't have a show booked or a record or a recording slot, you have to prepare for. The bands just kind of don't do anything. They kind of have to have a goal.
Yeah. I don't understand racing. It's just me personally. Like, it just doesn't like, I don't know if it's like, I don't, am I too competitive or not competitive enough? I don't know which one it is, but it's like, to me, if I know, like, I'm not going to go join that race because I know I'm not going to win. So it doesn't really seem like it's a fun idea to me. And then on the other hand, it's like, well, the only people that I really want to beat are my friends.
Right.
So like, I don't really care about beating a bunch of other people. Like if I came in first place, or if I came in second place and I beat like all the other people, but first place was my buddy still, right. Or my buddy didn't even race the race, but his time on what we did is still faster than mine, then I'd still feel like I didn't really win.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just looking at it to just finish it. Just to say I could do it. Right.
I'm a cheap ass. I don't like paying for anything either. That's probably why I started my channel.
Right.
So I'm like, why would I pay somebody to go ride these? They like did a race like on some of our local stuff not too long ago. And I was like, why would you pay that? I mean, like that's the same like course that I ride on Tuesday after work.
Right.
You know, like what's the point?
Right.
It just doesn't I hope somebody can explain it to me someday. I probably will never get it because it's just not like, it just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I wanted to push myself, especially like do enduro races and like have to do the climbing to the top and just to say, okay, I did it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it seems totally daunting to me to do an enduro race where it's like 6 stages and you have to climb the mountain 6 times or whatever. But I just wanted to say I did it.
Yeah. See, and I guess like I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago. I think it was Daily MTB, and I was saying like we were talking about running a marathon. And there was a point in my life where I was training to do that, and even then, I didn't actually want to sign up for one. I was just going to go run 26.2 miles, like, and then be like, "Sweet, I ran a marathon."
Right.
I guess it's probably me. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm afraid to fail in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah. See, my only failure would be if I didn't finish. I would, if I finished, that's all I would want to do.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I think I honestly, at the core of it, the reason is probably all because I'm a cheap ass and I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like to me, like my lady would be like, let's go run this 5K. And I'm like, why?
Right.
Like there's a bunch of people in our way. We can't keep a good pace. Like we have to pay for it to get some dumb shirt we're never going to wear. Like, I don't even understand why we want to do this. And she'd be like, but it goes to a good cause and it'll be fun to go out and hang out with our friends. And I'm like, I'm all crotchety.
Yeah.
I have much better things I want to do with $30.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Fortunately, I had a job for a while that they would like pay for all these like local like 5Ks. So like I seemed like a hero to the family. Like we do all these things. I'm like, I'm not paying for it. That's why. Yeah. We wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't paying for it. That's hilarious. Oh, I crack myself up sometimes. So you got a hardtail behind you there?
Yeah, that's the Trek Roscoe there that I just rebuilt. Took it off the frame from the Da Vinci and put it back on the truck. I don't know. I like hardtails once in a while. Like for my trails, just like around local, like within an hour of me here, are pretty much really all I need is a hardtail.
Mm-hmm. Is that a 27.5 or a 29?
It could be either. It's a 27. It's right now it's 27.5 plus, like the 2.8's on there right now. But I do have another set of 29s for it. So I kind of just switch depending. I still haven't fully decided what I like better. I think it depends.
Yeah. I think if I was running a lot more XC type trails, I would definitely do 29.
Yeah.
I tend to like try to treat my hardtail like it's a downhill bike. And so the 27.5 plus is definitely way better for that. I mean, you're a bigger guy too. You're pretty tall, right?
Yeah, 6'2".
Yeah. And do you know your weight in pounds or like do you guys?
Yeah, like no, yeah, around 220-ish.
220. How many kilos is that or whatever?
I honestly don't know. That's weird. Canadian's weird that way. Like our height and weight is usually imperial. Like say 6'2" and 220. Nobody ever says 99 kilograms or whatever. Something like that. It'd be something like that.
Yeah. I have no idea what the conversion is at all. So yeah, so you're a bigger dude, man. I think the plus tires for guys our size are like if you are a big dude, like if you're in if you're a Clydesdale, so that's over 200 pounds, 100% need to be riding a plus tire. Did you guys hear that?
I heard something.
Oh yeah, it's Alexa back there telling somebody about somebody's ringing my doorbell. House is yours. Anyways, so yeah, dude, if you're a big dude, like the plus tires, in my opinion, are 100%. Like,
yeah,
when the first time I rode a plus tire bike, I was like, oh my God, this is what it feels like for a guy that weighs like 160 or 150. Like, and he's like talking about how good grip was.
Right.
Like you're like, holy shit, I didn't actually know what I thought good grip was. It was not this. This is like Velcro.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I been riding the 29s on the hardtail for a long time and just did the 27.5 plus today and was kind of reminded how good the grip is. Kind of forgot.
Do you have Cushcore in there?
No, not right now.
You should try it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about any of the other brands, so I wouldn't like insert any other brands insert in there like and expect the same results of what I'm saying. But I can tell you right now, Cushcore is like a friggin' game changer, especially with the bigger tires like that. It really stiffens up the sidewalls and like just it's like you still have all the grip and then like the turning's even better.
Huh. I'll have to try that.
Yeah, definitely. Like it'll be a pain in the ass the first time you install it. Like it'll suck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've put Cushcore in before on my other older bike I had before. Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but
yeah. The first like 2 times, maybe 3 times that I put it on, it was tough. And at this point, like I can put it on just as quick as I can put on a regular tire.
Yeah.
Like it's like something clicks in like a couple of installs and you're like, oh, I get it now. You know what I mean? But until then, it's like, can I actually just burn this thing right now? Like,
yeah, I hear you. I don't know. I don't think it was the first time I did it. I actually did it okay, but then I had to do something else with it, and I struggled, and I finally got it on, and then realized the tire was on backwards, and I had to take it all apart, and ended up breaking a tire lever and wrecking the rim tape, and it was like, holy shit. Yeah,
I'm so happy that happened to you because I've done it more than once.
Yeah.
The worst part is when you check the tire like 6 times before you put it on. You're like, yeah, no, this is 100%. This is the right way to do it. And then you put it on, and then after you're done and you're sweating all over the place, and then your buddy's like, dude, that's on the wrong way.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Yes, it is.
I know, and you're right. Like I double check like 6 times, so just going on the right way. Then somehow I managed to put it on backwards.
Somebody say this in the comments because I'm gonna mess up which direction it is. But like with Maxxis, it's like the writing I think is on the like drive side, so it doesn't even matter. Like it's like
you're right.
So it's like if you have no writing, that should be on the same side as your brake caliper. And I'm one of those people that if there's a rule like that, whatever I do remember, all I do is question if I'm remembering it wrong now. So like I remember the rule. So the rule is that there's writing on one side that you're supposed to point at.
Yeah.
And then to me, I'm like, but am I remembering it? I mean, obviously with the tire, you can look at it, but like I'll screw it up somehow.
Yeah.
You're always like putting a tire on is like shuttle math. You're like holding your head upside down, looking at your bike that's like sideways, going like, okay, if it spins this way when I'm rolling, okay, it goes on that way. And then you end up having to redo it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one because like you said, it's just so weird because you're like, swear it's the right way, and then it's not somehow.
There was one that I put on backwards, and I remember it was like during that time where some guys run that like certain tires backwards because they're like, oh, it has better grip. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm just gonna tell people I did that for better grip. And then it was like the OCD in me is like, I can't freaking handle that this thing is on backwards.
Yeah.
There was one bike that I did that, and then I was like, I don't care. I'm going on a ride. I don't have time to fix this right now. I'm leaving. And then of course, like I have Instagram pictures, and somebody's like, your tire's on backwards. I'm like, face palm.
Yeah.
How did you notice?
Yeah.
They're probably like, duh, the writing was on the wrong side.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So apparently you did a video about the Kush course. Somebody's saying Toogy's Kush course video is great.
Yeah, I did that. I don't know. It was back in 2019, I think. I can't remember exactly if the video was good or not, but apparently somebody liked it, so that's good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just like a regular install video. Like,
yeah, I just kind of went into it like my first time doing it, and I kind of knew what I was doing, but not 100%. And just it wasn't that bad actually. My first time wasn't terrible. I felt like my fingers were gonna like break off because other than that, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
yeah.
I felt like I wanted to punch baby Jesus my first time.
Yeah.
I have like metal tire levers that I was using. I was like, people are like, you're gonna screw your rim up. I'm like, I don't even care at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what got you into mountain biking, dude? Because I don't think, like, judging from what you had said earlier, I don't think you were into this when you were younger, huh?
No. I mean, I obviously rode around as a kid on BMX and mountain bikes, but it was mainly just transportation, getting from somewhere to somewhere else. But then I ended up buying an old Trek mountain bike in 2000 and I don't know when, 2008 or 9 or something like that, with the plan to get into mountain biking, but then just I never did. it just sat in the garage for almost 10 years.
Oh wow!
And then ended up getting divorced, and then that was just like the first thing I did. I was like, I'm gonna finally ride that bike, because it was kind of like, I don't want to blame it on her, but she bought a bike at the same time, and we just never. She wanted to do it together. We wanted to ride bikes together, and then she never wanted to do it. So it just kind of sat in the garage for 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So as soon as we split up,
my ex-wife did the same thing. I think she just really liked buying stuff.
Yeah.
maybe that was the same thing with
I think she liked the idea of biking, but not actually biking.
Yeah. Mine just liked the idea of buying stuff. She was like, oh, we're going to spend a couple $1,000s. I'm in.
Yeah. So it sat there. And then as soon as we broke up, I started riding that first weekend and haven't looked back since.
Right on, dude.
Yeah.
What do you think that, like, what was like, what's the hook? Why is it that you enjoy it so much?
I don't know. I think I just like being outside, getting the exercise. I don't know. It's hard to explain what I love about it, but then I think the sense of accomplishment after a ride.
Yeah.
Right? Like during the ride, there'll be times in the ride where it's like you're climbing up this hill or this short punchy climb, and you're like, this sucks. Like, why am I even doing this? But then when you're done the ride, you feel like that. Like, wow, like that was fun. Like that was I accomplished something, and I feel great.
Yeah.
You know? Like even today, there was like a point where I'm like, why do I like this?
Right.
Because you're just like grinding up a hill and your legs are killing you, and you're like, wow, I'm so out of shape. Why am I doing this?
Especially when you go for like those big, like mile marker kind of rides where you're like, I've never ridden 30 miles or I've never ridden 5,000 feet of elevation. And you're like, I'm going to do it. And like some point at the beginning, you're like super stoked. It's like going to Vegas. You're like, Vegas, baby. Yeah. And then like halfway through, you're like, oh yeah, this is cool. Vegas, baby. And then like 3/4 of the way, you're like, can we just go home? Like, I don't know why we're still here. Like, it sucks.
Yeah.
Then you finish and you get home and you're like, dude, Vegas was so sick.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's like that feeling after it's all done and you just feel like, oh, you rode 20 miles or whatever. And you feel like you've accomplished something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy too. Like, the better you get, like the level of enjoyment doesn't change. At least in my perspective, I don't think it does.
Right.
Somebody asked me, they were like, hey, you lost all this weight. Like, is it more fun? And I was like, no, I just pedal more, man.
Right. Although I think it is, well, I know when I was like earlier this year, I'd lost 20 pounds and I'd been on the trainer all winter and I was, in fairly decent shape. And it is a little bit funner when you're in better shape, I think. Because the last few rides have sucked for me.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but I don't know if like maybe the overall satisfaction is like less painful, but I don't feel like when you went down the hill, you don't feel more happy when you're like in better shape. And when you finish the ride, like all the pain part is done, right? So like you've already like gotten over all that. So like the sense of accomplishment is still the same.
Right.
Like the first time I did 10 miles didn't feel any more like rewarding than the first time I did 30 miles.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's and I think maybe I don't explain myself well enough when I make these like simple statements. So, but like, that's, I think what I'm getting at is like, it's definitely, you could say it's more enjoyable. It's less painful, right?
Well, especially for the riding around here. Like it's pretty much XC within 3 hours of me. It's all XC riding. So it's tons of ups and downs all day.
Yeah.
I'd much prefer to just grind my way to the top and then just ride down, but that's not what we have here.
Yeah. Fortunately, we have a lot of that here.
Yeah.
I'm lucky in that aspect. Lucky. I mean, it's a double-edged sword though, dude, because it's like maybe some days you don't want to climb for 45 minutes before you can have fun.
That's true.
Like we do have some spots that aren't like that intense, but then on the other hand, like it's really hard for me to talk myself into going to places that aren't like that because the downhill is not as rewarding. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So you're like, oh God, this is gonna really suck.
Yeah. Like sometimes like that's people say like, why do you live where you live if you like mountain biking? And I guess it's just because of where I was from, but like the riding around here, it's good, but it's totally not like big mountain riding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the thing though, man. I mean, I don't know how much traveling that you've done in riding, but like for me, I haven't done a lot, but like the little bit of traveling that I've done has been in a lot of different like ecosystems or whatever you want to say, like geographically or whatever. I don't know, environments or something. I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't like they're all like very wildly different, but they're all like super fun, you know? Yeah. So like I can totally understand how somebody that's riding in Florida where it's flat as hell is still having a hell of a good time. Yeah. As like a guy that's like descending Whistler. You know what I mean?
I think Whistler would be a little bit funner though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean I've ridden like I've been down to like Wind Rock in North Carolina and done like, you know, the bike parks along the eastern coast like Killington and Mountain Creek, and they're fairly big hills, like nothing probably compared to out west, but still pretty big for out east, and downhill is better.
Yeah. I think I stretched that one a little bit too far, huh?
Yeah.
Damn it. Florida and Whistler are not the same, Rob. I was selling that thing, man. Yeah, no, I hear you there, dude. But I think at the core of it, it's the things that you were talking about earlier, the sense of accomplishment. Did I do that? You know, whether it's, you know, did you do 5,000 feet of climbing or did you like do your little loop in less than 30 minutes for the first time?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like whatever it is.
And I think I'm a bit of a stats guy. Like I like to see, you know, how many kilometers I rode this week, how many kilometers I ride this year, how many feet or how many meters of elevation did I ride? Yeah. Like that kind of gets me motivated. Yeah. But once I start saying, oh, you know, I'm at 2,000 kilometers for the year, let's push for 3,000 or like I like just seeing the number. So
do you do Strava?
Yeah.
So you got your wrap up just recently. They showed you what you did in 2020. Were you happy?
Pretty happy. I started out the year way better. Like up until about July, I was really killing it, and then it's kind of gone downhill since then. But it was still my best year ever.
Yeah, I didn't even know I was going for a big year. Like, because the first part of the year, I was like, you know, just doing whatever I normally do, like ride on the weekends and maybe during the middle of the week once. And then COVID happened, and then I was like trying to see how long I could get away with drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then that didn't last very long before I was like, holy shit, I weigh 300 pounds. And then I was like, okay, I should lose some weight. And then at that point I like got serious. So like, I really like turned up the riding since July to the end of the year. And I ended up being like, so last year I did like 90,000 feet of elevation. And this year I did like 190,000 feet of elevation.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know what my mileage was last year, but this year I was like just shy of 3,000 miles.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I mean, like, I didn't like. I knew I was riding a lot, right? Because once I decided to start doing this diet, it was like, dude, okay, for like a couple, like I think the first at least the first 2 months, I think I rode every day except for like one day.
Wow.
Yeah. So obviously, like, duh, I'm gonna have more miles, but it didn't really wasn't something I was thinking about until that Strava thing popped up and I saw like what I rode compared to last year, and I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
But like you said, I'm a stats guy too. So now, like, what's the first thing I think when I see that? It's like, oh, well, how am I going to get 400 next year?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I hear you. Like I pretty much tripled my best year this year, but still, like, I was on pace to probably like get that 5 times or 6 times over that at some point, but then just really fell off the rails in July.
Yeah.
Well,
the best thing that you can do is like let it be what it is, and then get back on the saddle again.
Yeah.
Like, it's really easy to like beat yourself up over stuff, but the only way to actually like not beat yourself up over it is just to go do it.
Yep.
And that's the thing, is like, people ask me like, well, how do you like lose the weight? And it's like, really has nothing to do with anything other than just deciding that you're actually going to do it.
Yep.
Like that's it. It's really that simple. And I've done this before. I mean, you and I were talking before the podcast. Like, you know how to lose weight. You said you've gained a lot of weight in the past and lost it. And it's like, you know how to do it. And really, like, people don't want to hear it when you're a fat guy telling them it's just that simple to go out and do it. But like, once you've lost a bunch of weight, then they'll listen to you again.
Yeah.
But like, really, that's it. Just like, get up and go do something. Stop eating all the crap and go like do something.
That's the hardest part. Is not eating all the crap.
Right?
Yeah.
It's good. Tastes good, dude.
I know. Why is everything that tastes good so bad for you?
Right?
Yeah.
Plus, then I just double whammy it with like in beer. Like, if I was a pothead, it would be so much easier just to smoke some dope, dude, sit around on the couch, be fucking happy. But instead, got to drink like 12 beers, 95,000 calories later. Guess what? Now I'm going to eat all the food.
Yeah.
Here's a good one from Double R again. And the Pirate's hitting hard today. He says, are your rides more enjoyable with or without a camera?
I think overall probably without. But I mean, sometimes it can be enjoyable with, but it's just nice sometimes not having to worry about batteries or having to carry extra batteries or tripods or whatever around with you. You can just go out and ride.
Yeah. It's a tough question for me, because I think I I read into it a little bit, like, on one hand, riding without a camera is great for the reasons that you just said. Like 100%, like, no camera, no, like, you're like going down this like 6 section and you're not thinking, is my angle correct, or is it going to be like pointing at the ground too much?
Right.
Like, so that part of it is definitely better without. But I will say, there's been like countless times that me and my buddies are like my garage is kind of like where we hang out and drink beer, This place, obviously, that's why all those beer bottles are behind me. But like there's countless times that we've like had a few beers and we've like then watched the videos of like we were here or we were there and like talked about it, and like, so for that part, it's like, man, it's really valuable. So I don't know, so
I get what you're saying. I think like it's nice after the fact to have that video, and you're glad you're glad you did it. But sometimes during the moment, it's just nicer to just ride and not have to worry about it.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Especially for all the guys that don't want to wait for you to change your batteries. They think it's more enjoyable.
That's what they need to come out with, a GoPro that lasts like 8 hours.
Like forever.
Yeah.
They just need like a GoPro helmet that they can like embed a bunch of batteries into.
Yeah.
So then like you just plug in your helmet and recharge it, and then that little cable goes to your GoPro or whatever, and then you got like freaking 12 hours of battery life and be good to go.
This guy Double R or whatever says he rides better when he eats bad. That's definitely not me.
Yeah. I don't know what I could say to that. That'd be like me saying, I definitely ride better when I'm hungover.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm definitely need to keep my eating. I definitely ride better when I'm eating well, because otherwise it's like you cramp in the wrong spot, or like if you ate too much crap, like your stomach's all upset when you're climbing or something like that. So but that's me. So dude, we're like 2 hours in, man.
Yeah.
That was quick. Was pretty easy. It was good chatting with you, man.
Good. Awesome.
So I always ask people like what YouTube channels that they like to watch, whether it's like mountain biking or not mountain biking. What's on your rotation?
I mean, I obviously watch the big guys on mountain biking, but I'm into like, there's this one guy, Destination Adventure, where he just drives around in his RV, finding cool spots and walking around and talking about, old ghost towns or stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. Or that Steve Wallace guy, watching him just camp. He kind of just, he finds places where you shouldn't, where you're not allowed to camp, and just does it anyways. So it's kind of like stealth camping.
Then he puts it on the internet for everybody to watch.
Yeah, like he'll find like a forest in between like an interstate that's just wherever. I don't know who owns the land, but he'll just go camp there overnight, or go set up camp behind a population sign on the side of the highway. Yeah, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So you're like kind of watching it, waiting for him to get busted like every time.
Yeah, but he hasn't got busted yet. It's got close.
Right.
I also watch a bunch of like guitar and music YouTube channels.
Yeah,
like Music is the Win, I think, or Music is Win or something. I like his channel.
What are they doing there?
He just tests out different guitars and pedals and talks about guitar nerd stuff.
Guitar nerd stuff.
Yeah,
that's awesome, dude. What was the guitar that you wanted the most when you were a kid?
Probably a Gibson Les Paul.
Yeah.
I finally got one when I turned 40, so that was cool.
Right on, dude.
Yeah.
My dad had this one for a long time, like from like the 60s, and he like let somebody borrow it, and it got like, I don't remember I'm gonna screw the story up, but like one way or another it got like broken, and it was like, dude, that sucks. I always wanted like an Ibanez. Like I had some, I had like a Stratocaster and stuff like that, but I remember I felt like the Ibanez's, they just looked like, they looked like rock and roll, like super cool head on them, and like always like just like awesome fretboards with all this inlay in it and stuff. Like, that thing looks sick.
Yeah.
Right on, dude. Well, dude, it was super fun, man. Anything
that's cool.
And anything you want to say to the peeps before we get going?
No, just thanks for stopping by and chatting and keeping us company. And check out the channel, check out Robert's channel, check out the other biker channel, all that stuff.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Right on. So definitely swing by the Toogy Howser channel. I got the link and show more if you're watching on a podcast. That same information that is there as well. I don't know how it like feeds over to the other podcast apps, but I know if you're on Apple or whatever, you can still click those links. So you can go swing by his channel, check that out, and definitely hit the subscribe button there. Or if you want to see more of the stuff here, hit the subscribe button here too. That would be super sick. So I really appreciate everybody hanging out with us, man. It's definitely been a good time, and definitely hold me to it, guys, next week of doing the autobiography interview myself one. That's what I'm shooting for next week. Nice. See if I can actually make it through the 2 hours. I'm gonna get deep too. I'm gonna talk about my childhood, why I suck my thumb at night, like all those good stuff. So think of some good questions to throw up, because I'm probably gonna need some help somewhere along the line and start panicking. Cool. So thanks again, Jeff. All you guys out there, I want you to remember it only takes a bike to be a biker. So get out and be one. Later.